Today I have with me Marco from the IFZA Free Zone. I'm very excited to have you here. It's really a pleasure. We work so closely together.
Same for me,
Yeah.
Mohammed.
So tell me a bit about yourself, Marco.
So, I moved here in Dubai 1.5 years ago, and, I've been all over the world. I actually lived in 8 different countries. And what attracted me the most of Dubai is the potential of the city in terms of business, infrastructures, and ability to jump into something, and the volatility and the speed of how things go here. So that's what really brought me here to Dubai. In terms of myself, I've changed different roles. I've always been in sales. I like to speak to people. I've joined IFZA for now about 1.5 years, and it's been a great movement. I think I was living in Germany before at the time.
Yeah.
The taxes were not beautiful. The
Yeah.
weather was actually terrible. So one day I woke up and I was like, it's time to go somewhere, to make it happen. It's now or never. So I'm like, let's go to Dubai.
That's about right. So 90% of the time I'm talking about taxes, but like the weather and generally how sunny it is, it's really a pleasure staying out here at times.
For sure. I mean, I think from my perspective, Dubai is how you want to live it. You can live any kind of life from very extreme in terms of doing many things, also to a calm life. And you have also all the benefits which are here, which is probably safeness, infrastructures, opportunities to network, and being able to actually, make the most out of your time here. I think in this 1.5 years, I met more important people for my formation than I've ever met in the rest of my other life. So that tells you a lot about Dubai, in my opinion.
It's true. So like the one thing that it's very hard to communicate is the speed of Dubai, like how quickly things can happen. It's when an agreement's put onto ink and engagements have been signed, most people begin work prior to any exchange of funding. It's very normal here to get to work first and then figure out the details. Well, not necessarily the details, but figure out the application later.
I think absolutely. I think in Dubai, people want to speed up connection and things to expand their businesses, to get things done at a faster pace. The bureaucracy is less because there are ways to get things done. Like if you want, you're going to get something done. While in other countries, like where I'm from, Europe, there's a lot of bureaucracy. You need to wait time. People are starting to overthink everything, so everything doesn't run smoothly. And on top of that, put yourself in the tax position.
Yeah.
The tax position is a big factor because nowadays in Europe, people are tired because you're spending a lot of money on taxes and they're not allocated for things that you actually get.
Yeah. Business can be an all-in venture, but I know plenty of independent business owners that started off small, that were first working at a company. The company was okay with them starting a side hustle, so they did. And those things just blow up, become their main income so quickly, and they just end up making, well, I wouldn't call them overnight successes, but in a year, I've seen companies go from a couple 10, 15,000 dirhams a month to glow up to 100K.
You see this a lot in Dubai,
Yeah.
of course, that business take off and people start really being successful. I've seen many of these different, objectives and variations, but I think it's because Dubai enables you to be in the right mindset as well, because you always want more. You see it on the streets, you see it in people. You see people that have a lot of money,
Yeah.
but they keep going and they want much more, and they are able to expand in different business sectors. They're able to meet people that make them better people, where they can learn and they can. And what I really liked about Dubai is that people really don't discourage you.
No, not at
When
all.
you're talking to them, they're really opening up a door, and if they see that you have some potential to bring a benefit to their business,
Yeah.
they're ready to go on with it.
Yeah.
And of course, if you deliver good result and good things, your expansion is guaranteed.
I think that social groups can be pretty rigid. In home countries, people can be cliquey, but in Dubai, everyone's an expat, so everyone's looking to connect, even become friends, and create a whole new social group. So if you're looking to kind of start over fresh, not just business-wise, but socially, you can do that here. It's very easy to do so.
And business is by the door. I'll give you an example. So I work with IFZA.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to build partnerships. And randomly talking with some people at the beach. I was just laying Kite Beach. It's a free beach,
Yeah.
very nice. and they were playing volleyball, so I asked, can I play? After we played a bit, we started talking, and he actually became one of my new partners. So, just to give you an example of how approachable things are and how people are open
Yeah.
to anything that you propose them.
Oh yeah, one of my clients, well, he's also a friend and a client. I was running on the Business Bay track. I try to run like 5 kilometers usually, and this guy was running, and then we started running together. At the end of the run, like we were at pace, we were running the same pace, so we thought, well, we might as well run together. 2 days later, I'm doing the accounting for his firm, and it happens. It really happens.
It's really incredible. It's that easy. I'm not kidding. You don't want, and it happens.
There does seem to be key signs that Europe is more focused on maintaining its previous growth as opposed to actually growing further. You're seeing them become more aggressive with both income and company taxes. It seems like they have this fixed base of business owners that are successful, and they're just trying to squeeze them more just to maintain this current system, not even to expand.
Let's take in consideration also big Italian companies don't want to pay taxes in Italy, same as many other countries.
Yeah.
So that already tells you that everything is being set up in order kind to fail. And only people who can find an alternative, that means with great consultation, great network, is able to cut maybe the way short in order to save that amount of money that they would need to be paying in taxes.
That's correct. You could say, so that's why I think it's so important to set up in Dubai. It's because, yes, you could take some of the tax benefits, but that's not all the country has to offer. You have a multicultural environment where you can conduct business cross borders. You have the infrastructure to support most any type of business, except maybe extreme manufacturing, but you could do a lot here.
So as we know here, it's 0% income tax.
Yes.
People are able to distribute their wealth towards what they prefer. I don't know, maybe better education for their kids, better health insurance. While you're just paying in a black hole your taxes in Europe, and you don't know really where this money is going because the schools are not good.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
operating some of their financials or being their accountant, essentially, what I've seen quite a bit is how quickly people want to enable their passive or capital gains into immediate investments. They don't even wait a day. They'll switch the money out or the profits within a matter of hours into something that'll make them even more money. And from my understanding, that's not something that's normal in Europe, certainly not in Italy, from where you're from.
It's not. I mean, businesses are set up to fail unless they had long-lasting history of good connections in terms of how to allocate their taxes. There's a lot of ignorance and bureaucracy in this sector, I think, in Europe, and people are getting tired because they don't have the freedom to operate and dedicate themselves on their business.
And that's kind of unfair because if you're young like we are, we're in our early 30s, we would like to start businesses in Europe, etc. But when you're fighting against these massive giant industries, well established with resources, it's hard to get from zero to anywhere without you're kind of handicapped in many ways by not proceeding forward or not being able to take the actions you're looking to take. So what you'll see is they'll slowly siphon their revenue generation or their client bases from non-relevant markets outside of Europe, maybe US, some parts of Asia, maybe Africa. And then why should, and in these business owners' mind is that why should I be paying taxes from revenue generations from other countries that I'm delivering in the service outside? Everything's outside. Why don't I just open up in Dubai, invoice them from other jurisdictions, and I'll keep my European business in Europe?
Exactly. And in terms of IFZA, we offer a lot of activities that enable clients to do this.
Yes.
Which is
IFZA has been amazing in adding new activities that they may perceive as relevant to the market. So, there'll be a new technology. There would be something regarding AI or any other future venture that seems interesting. And next thing you know, the activity's on the activity list and they're ready to launch.
There's a lot of option, and one thing that I want to emphasize is the mixing of professional and commercial activity. So under one license, you can do a lot for the price of the actual license. You can have 3 free activities up to 7 activities, and you can expand your business based on this model. And I think that gives a lot, of freedom to people to get their hands in many opportunities. And that obviously is a great benefit, in my opinion.
It's also the fact that business can be an all-in venture, but I know plenty of independent business owners that started off small, that were first working at a company. The company was okay with them starting a side hustle, so they did. And those things just blow up, become their main income so quickly, and they just end up making, well, I wouldn't call them overnight successes, but in a year, I've seen companies go from a couple 10, 15,000 dirhams a month to glow up to 100K.
You see this.
And well, I wish I licensed in IFZA. I should have licensed in IFZA. I think that I didn't do it because I didn't perceive my business to take off the way it did, like almost like a consequence of success. But if I could have gone over, and I'll randomly say this at my house with my wife, it was like, I wish I just licensed with IFZA. Marco would have been there. He would have taken care of everything. I deal with headaches all day. And IFZA is quite literally, in my opinion, one of the best free zones you can get, hands down, not even close.
I'm sure IFZA is really on the top right now, because if we're talking about Dubai free zones,
Yes.
you want to establish your business in Dubai. Let's take out of the picture other Emirates, because they're also offering other free zone licenses. But if you're coming here to open up a business, you want to be based in Dubai.
Yeah.
You want to everything that's around your business to be dealt with in Dubai. You don't want other Emirates, because they have also their own jurisdictions. Anything happens to your license, your visa, you are connected, let's say, to the other Emirate.
Yes.
So that also puts your business a bit in a risk position. And at IFZA, we're really focusing in the long term.
And that's true. I feel, even though I am a niche structured tax firm that really focuses on slow, long deals, I feel treated like I'm a massive corporate service provider. I've been given all the support, all the time and attention needed to be successful and, hash out structuring deals fairly quickly. And that's not, I don't get that kind of service anywhere, not even close as a business.
I would say IFZA has many positive things, which, at one pace we have about 50 nationalities within our workforce. We have a European management, because we are a lot looking overseas to expand and bring these investors, these people with businesses to Dubai, and setting up with us, and gives them more of like a ease to focus on their business, and through partners like yourself, offering also your services and building, experience, so that these clients have use cases of what activities they can use, how they can do their taxing, how they can kind of satisfy all of their needs around this ecosystem. So I think our main goal here at IFZA is to expand. As we always say in our internal meetings, sky is really the limit.
And that's what the market is really begging for. The market is begging for really competent, efficient people. And a lot of these people own their little, I wouldn't even call them micro businesses, but middle businesses that generate maybe $100,000, $200,000, but they just want to be independent. They don't work for a large company or anything, but they have their own client bases. And you combine that with the independence and freedom of being a business owner with the high pay of, let's just say, a Silicon Valley coder. You can live almost like double the quality of life than you would any other region or country.
And I believe this. This is the greatest thing of Dubai at the moment, is that you can go in between the line between very expensive and down to earth prices. And I respect that a lot, because you should be able to choose to have options.
So you very much have access to the mainland if you need it. And if you're going into many stumbling blocks with the mainland, well, it turns out you probably just have a mainland company anyway, and you need to license there. And I know a lot of people that started off with IFZA, but they came from a mainland branch, or they're looking to expand on a mainland branch. It's a good launching pad for businesses to start, because if things don't work out, it's so easy to kind of wind things down and kind of take appropriate and calculated risks or losses. But if you're successful, a mainland license, et cetera, isn't too much more, or you could make an umbrella of companies.
Exactly. I think it depends on your business plan, and you can do almost everything through a free zone license, as long as you have the right partnership and you're touching on these small criterias that, so at the end, it's how you structure your business in that way that you're enabled to work completely on a safeguard, working also with a free zone license. But for most activities, this is why we are here, IFZA. When Mohammed has any of their client talking about certain activities, we're here to provide them the best possible overview, whether it's approvals they need, whether it's how to structure their activities in order for their business to operate correctly. This we're also offering this.
So being from IFZA, how do you set up a business at IFZA? You work there. What's the internal process like so that clients can understand just the step-by-step
Okay, let me give
timelines?
you a very raw overview of everything. So let's start from the time frame, okay? So once to our channel partners an application is submitted, that means with all your details, is sent over to us. What happens? Internally, our team also verifies it. So to check if all the details are input correctly. That's the first step. Once this is done, we will wait for the payment, through obviously our channel partners in order for them to proceed with the application. Once the payment is made, what happens? KYC is released. So it will arrive directly to the client's email. He will be able to verify his identity. It's very fast and easy to do. Within 5 minutes, you'll be able to do this. Once this is done, a summary is sent also to the email of the client. That means a summary of the data input so that he can look through it, he can verify that every details is correct, and we can proceed. Once these two steps are done, this is where the time frame proceeds. That means you will have 3 business days, you will have your license. In these 3 business days, what will happen? The license will go in security clearance, so for different checkups. And once it has passed this stage, it will go in a name confirmation and verification stage. In this stage, also on your email, you will receive basically a link where you can sign your MOA and resolution of your incorporation. Once this is signed, your license is ready to be issued. So it's a simple process that can be done completely remotely and quite fast, 3 business days.
Yeah.
It's also faster, depends when you do the KYC and you get the summary done. It can also be faster. Just take in consideration it's business days, as weekends are not operative. So once this stage is done, we are set up, license arrived through digital as it is now. It's sent to our channel partners, and the channel partner can then share it with the client themselves. Automatically after this, establishment card is applied. What is this establishment card? It's a document that allows you to have visas under your license. So basically, once the license is issued, automatically 48 hours after, you will receive the establishment card. Once you receive the establishment card, you're ready to proceed your visa application. And this also can be done through your partner. Basically, what happens once you do your visa application, you will receive an employment contract, okay? Once you receive the employment contract to sign, you will be enabled to get your e-visa. This will take 3 business days. Once you receive your e-visa, this is just there to say, okay, now you can come to the country. You have 60 days to come to Dubai, do your Emirates ID registration, do your medical, and do your biometrics. If you do set up with IFZA, come see our offices, come with Mohammed, you can come to meet me. We're working all together to help you be successful, And so as we talk on those bases, it's important that you see also where you're setting up your businesses. And I'm sure if you do come to our headquarters, which in Silicon Oasis, it's about 15 minutes from downtown, you will see the quality and, the kind of people you're working with or with who you're setting up the business through our partners, of course.
Yeah, IFSA's office is very, very nice. It's always, I feel almost, it doesn't feel as relaxed as a semi-government entity should. It just feels like I'm going to go meet, almost a friend, talk about business. It's very, very, not necessarily casual, but it's very relaxed. So you're on the ground floor, you work at IFZA, you see hundreds of licenses being issued almost like every day. What are the trends that you're seeing? What type of businesses do you see most commonly open?
Consultancies are going very strong, whether it's management consulting, project management, whether it's related to IT, whether it's related to any other sector. We offer a variety of activities. But people also like to combine this with other activities such as e-commerce, or as well they're going out also towards a more general trading activity. I think these are the main ones that are being set up, from consultancy to general trading to more specific trading activities. to e-commerce, as well as I have seen a lot of holding activity license being issued in
There
this.
is I've seen a lot of hybrid businesses opened up more and more. That's fairly common, that people saying I could have basically two businesses wrapped into one license.
I've seen people doing things like, coaching in some way,
Yeah.
opening up, but as well offering consultancies
Yes.
on the side. So, as I said, you are enabled to choose three activities. And so you are enabled to do more than what you do in other countries.
It does bring me joy when my clients strike accidental success. I used to have this client. She was an independent spa center manager. She started a business to consult some hotels. One day she calls me in a panic, and I'm like, why is she panicking? Is she okay? And then she's like, Mohammed, I just signed a contract for 200K AED. The money's coming in. I don't know what to do with the money. What am I supposed to do accounting wise? And then I calmed her down. I was like, this is a good thing. Keep at it. You're growing your business. This is what you need to do moving forward.
That happens. I mean, look how many areas are expanding here.
Yes.
If you set up the right quality and the right initial investment for your business, you'll guarantee success. There's people that are coming here in Dubai and are bringing their expertise.
You spoke a bit about the unemployment rates in Europe, and I think the barriers to businesses, or the barriers to conduct business for these young people, could be a solution. Because if you're unemployed, you need to source income one way or the other, and a lot of businesses start out of necessity, out of people that couldn't find jobs in an active job market. They start because people had no choice but to become self-sufficient in how they generate their wealth.
Absolutely. And my biggest concern in terms of Europe at the moment is that the government is also not helping people who are starting up on their own to also provide more jobs for people. Because, I mean, life is about working, right? And I don't think you should be tied to one job for the rest of your life. And this is a lot how I see it in Europe, that people find a good job and they stay there forever. I mean, I think there are various steps you can take in your life. You build experience. You should try to be able to be free and be like, I want to switch job. I want to try something different. I think a young person nowadays in Europe who wakes up in the morning and decides to do something, it's very challenging for them to operate or try a business, make money. It's very difficult for them unless they find there's also low employment as well. So there's many factors, and people, I think, in this moment are really tired.
Yeah.
They cannot do it anymore. Some people refer as Dubai not having history, not having this, not having that. But those are just words that are said because, kind of out of negativity. Of course, it's a newly built city. It's structured differently than many historical cities in Europe. But nowadays, you need to think for yourself. What's beneficial for you? What kind of life do you want? And I think Dubai offers a lot in terms of safeness, infrastructure, employment. Whatever you're looking at, it has great possibilities.
So IFZA licenses hundreds of businesses every day. What are the tips that you'd give for someone starting a business in Dubai?
So, first of all, I would choose your free zone correctly, that...
Which in this case would be IFZA.
Which in this case, for sure would be IFZA. But I think the tips I give to people is to take time looking through the activity list, trying to see what really reflects your line of businesses. And mainly, the main tip I would say is to choose a partner like yourself, Mohammed, who oversees yourself 360 degrees. Because whenever you enter a different market, you need those helps, whether it's within the taxation, whether it's within the setting up your business, also some advices, because you come to every country, you're new, you're freshly there, you're going to make mistakes. So it's important, I think, that you choose, first of all, somebody who is efficient towards the part of licensing yourself, but as well as your partner. So that on that side, from your side, Mohammed, I think that's the advantage there that you can give people.
That's true. And when you have a supportive partner, you'll find that they'll solve more problems even outside the realm of work. Quite often I get asked about questions about insurance or where to live or how does this work or that work. And I actually have templates in my business that I share with clients saying, okay, you're moving here, you're starting a new life. It's not just starting a business here. This is how you move, this is how you get around, and these are best practices in the region. And that's what a supportive partner does. They offer you solutions to problems you're not even aware of.
The biggest fears of people, you know? What happens if I open a company in Dubai? Will my country, what's going to happen in my country with my assets? Will I be
How are
taxed?
the government entities going to react with massive outflow of a business and then that business then bringing some money back in, et cetera? It can get very, very complicated. And
Those are the biggest fear, in my opinion,
yes,
for clients. If you can clarify this point, and sometimes, you know, people are, you have to also, it's important who you have in front of you, who has the expertise to do so for yourself. Because some people will tell you, but it's fine, you open up the company, and then you're risking bigger problems. But I think in terms, it's to get the right advice and to make everything compliant. Because you want to be compliant, you want to sleep well at night,
yeah.
you know?
And that's why when people say, well, we have over 50 nationalities working within this area, why that's important is that you have a diverse pool of people from all over the world that understand these laws or regulations, or at least very familiar with them, about the best practices in other countries, and then also, of course, since they work in UAE, they know how things work here as well. I mean, we've both purchased properties, and we're both pretty happy about the gains that we've received over the past year or two. And we,
Very happy. Tell me a country like Dubai, I've been here 1 year and a half, that
yeah,
enabled me to, first of all, purchase a property through banking.
yeah.
Okay? Already after, I mean, I don't think there's any,
It doesn't take like if you're two couples and you're both working, you can afford a down payment on a place in like 2 years. That's no time at all if you save, if you're savvy. Sure, you may eat noodles for dinner instead of a nice restaurant once in a
Exactly.
while, but if you're really aggressive with your goals, you could buy a property here easily in 2 years.
and you're getting this freedom. You're getting access to money and invest it how you want it.
Yes.
So,
And we're never like, okay, you know, the mortgage payments are too high. What do? We just rent it out and we're still running a profit. Like the gains are still good enough that you don't lose anything by purchasing a property in UAE.
absolutely. And now it's a good time also to buy properties here because rents are going crazy.
Yeah.
So if you have the possibility buying a property in Dubai, as many people are doing, let's talk the truth. Is Dubai expenses? I'm gonna tell you no. You know why? Because you can choose. You can pay the least possible for anything, whether it's grocery, whether it's a luxurious restaurant or a very down to earth restaurant.